Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
It's our animal unit for the month of November, and today we're going to be talking about parrots, which are colorful birds that people keep as pets quite often. And, of course, they're very social. And if you keep one as a pet, he's going to be quite lonely. And some people are studying this with the use of iPads. Go figure.
Yeah, one of the reasons parrots are so popular is that many of them can talk. They can mimic you. And they can copy you. If they hear you say something, they will repeat it. It's kind of funny. There was a very interesting criminal case in the States where a parrot was saying things like, "Don't kill me, don't kill me." And it was used in the trial of a murder. And that person was convicted because the parrot was actually imitating that person and said the killer's name. So, yeah, parrots are pretty smart. But these parrots we're talking about, they're lonely. They're pet parrots. They're in cages usually. Typically, you do see them in cages because if you aren't in a cage, you fly away. But we're going to be taking a look at how we can help these parrots in captivity not be so lonely. We're going to talk about the parrot's new social network. Like we always do, guys, we're going to read through today's lesson and then we'll be back. With their colorful feathers and charming ability to imitate human speech, parrots have captured the hearts of numerous pet owners across the world. However, many owners aren't aware that parrots are incredibly social animals that need plenty of attention and company. In the wild, they thrive in large flocks, but captivity often deprives them of the opportunity to interact with other birds. Bored and lonely parrots are at risk of developing psychological issues or harmful habits, such as plucking out their own feathers. Thankfully, a new study has shed light on how modern technology can help relieve the loneliness of pet parrots. In a bid to provide parrots with the interaction they lack, researchers from several universities collaborated on a unique project. They recruited 18 parrots from an online training program for pet parrots called Parrot Kindergarten. The parrots were taught to ring a bell, which alerted their owners that they wanted to use a tablet. They would then proceed to tap an image of another parrot on the screen. This initiated a video call, bringing another parrot face to face. After becoming familiar with this procedure, the birds were allowed to call their friends freely. In this phase of the experiment, the parrots made 147 deliberate video calls, each one keenly observed by the owners to ensure the bird's well-being. The findings of the study were encouraging. The parrots appeared to enjoy their virtual hangouts. They displayed a range of different behaviors, including singing, playing around, and showing off their toys. Many parrots even chose to call the same birds over and over again, suggesting that long-lasting bonds were being formed. While video chats can't recreate how parrots socialize in the wild, they can offer a beneficial addition to the lives of pet parrots and brighten up their days.
All right, it's time for us to break down our article into smaller pieces and discuss it with you right now. We're trying to cure loneliness in captivity, and we're talking about the parrot's new social network. So if you cure something, of course, you handle a disease. Of course, some people think there's no cure for cancer. Maybe there is out there, who knows? But of course, we want to cure cancer. In this particular case, we want to cure loneliness because parrots get lonely if they're the only parrot in your house. They like to hang out with other parrots. And, of course, we're talking about parrots in captivity. Captivity is the state of being captive or being held by somebody and you're not free. So, yes, indeed, these animals are kept as pets and they're not allowed to fly free.
And when you're talking about a social network, we're usually talking about social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram. What do you guys call it? IG. IGS.
That sounds right. IG, yep.
IG, just IG. TikTok, those sorts of things, Douyin. The parrots have their own social network. We're going to talk about how some scientists got together to figure out a way to allow these pet parrots socialize with other parrots who don't live in the same house. And it was kind of fun to find out about this.
Indeed. I should mention that the Chinese word for parrot includes a lot more different species of this particular bird than English does. We tend to use different words for different species, like the macaw. For example, from South America, you guys still call it a parrot.
Oh, really?
And,
interesting.
I hope I said macaw, I think it is.
Macaw, I think.
Yeah, and then we've got budgies or parakeets, which are smaller. I think you still call
little
them
ones, yeah.
Parrots as well. But we're talking specifically about different parrots species that can talk and have colorful feathers. So with their colorful feathers and charming ability to imitate human speech, parrots have captured the hearts of numerous pet owners across the world. So because they have these colorful feathers and because they can imitate human speech, well, they are a popular choice for people if they're looking to have a pet.
Yeah.
And we're talking about they've captured the hearts of numerous pet owners. Numerous here just means many, a large number of something. And we've got pet owners all around the world who like having parrots as pets.
Yeah, I think the interest for me as a kid, at least, when we were looking at different pets to get, we ended up with a dog and a cat, of course, and some goldfish, was that a parrot could talk to you. And it was fun to teach it things. Not all parrots can talk. A lot of them can, and some are very good. And they can actually mimic a voice. They actually kind of sound like the voice that they're copying. So these are very popular parrots, popular birds. They're also beautiful. Some of these parrots are so colorful. They're just gorgeous. So, as Tom said, they've captured the hearts of a lot of pet owners across the world. However, and this was something I learned. I'm sad to say I didn't know that parrots were social animals. If you're described as being a social animal like humans, we like to be with other humans. That's where we're happy. We don't like to be alone. Being alone is sad. And when people are alone too long, they tend to pass away, to die, or to get sick. But if you are in a group of people and you have friends and a big family, you're usually happier. Well, parrots are like people. They love to be with other parrots. But I don't know anyone, Tom, that owned a parrot that had two parrots. It was just one parrot.
Yeah, of course, lots of time when people have pet cats or dogs, they like to have two of them so they can have a buddy, have a friend or something like that. So maybe you ought to consider getting a second parrot if you just have one so that it has somebody to hang out with
or play with,
to chat with or whatever. So yes, indeed, they're social and they need plenty of attention and company. Company just means someone with you. Can I keep you company, for example? You look kind of lonely. I'll keep you company. I'll be with you so you don't feel lonely. And in the wild, they thrive in large flocks, but captivity often deprives them of the opportunity to interact with other birds. So in the wild, in forests and mountain areas where they can fly freely, they thrive in large flocks. A flock, of course, is a group of birds. And yes, indeed, they're happy when they're in a group of all sorts of different parrots. They don't like to go off by themselves so much. They're social animals, so they like to hang out in large groups of birds, like sheep. Sheep like to hang out together, or even people sometimes like to hang out with lots of friends. Hey, the more the merrier.
Yeah, we've even discovered horses like other horses and elephants like to be around other elephants. So we know this about a lot of species, that they like to be social. Here it says captivity deprives them. If you deprive someone of something, you take it away from them. They don't have it anymore. If you've been bad, or you haven't obeyed at home, sometimes your mom or dad will deprive you of your phone or deprive you of free time to go out and be with your buddies. So they feel deprived when they aren't with other birds. They don't have the opportunity to interact with other birds. To interact with someone just means to communicate with them, to play with them. If you interact with somebody, you have an impact or effect on each other. There are lots of ways to interact, and they just want to be around other birds.
And bored and lonely parrots are at risk of developing psychological issues or harmful habits, such as plucking out their own feathers. So yes, indeed, these birds can be bored. They don't really have anything to do when they're sitting in a cage all by themselves all day long. And of course, they're going to be lonely because they don't have any friends around. So they might develop psychological issues. They might go crazy. They might experience anxiety or neurosis or whatever. And they also might develop harmful habits, for example, or such as plucking out their own feathers, which is kind of disturbing here. If you pluck feathers, that means you pull the feathers out of a body of a bird. Like, of course, if you want to prepare chicken for cooking, you need to pluck the feathers. You need to remove the feathers. And yes, indeed, these birds may pluck out their own feathers. That seems kind of disturbing to me.
Another way we use this word, especially to the ladies I'm talking here, we will pluck our eyebrows. Maybe your eyebrows are too thick, or you have one eyebrow. We call that the unibrow, where it just all is one eyebrow. I had really thick eyebrows growing up, so I know what it feels like to pluck eyebrows. It's not very fun. It hurts. So this is sad, though. They kind of go crazy, and they hurt themselves because plucking out their own feathers is definitely self-harm. Thankfully, a new study has shed light. If something sheds light on something, it offers a new view, a new perspective on something. Maybe it unveils some new knowledge, some new facts that scientists have learned or researchers have learned. And it shed light on how modern technology can help relieve the loneliness of pet parrots. So it's not just for people. We can use technology for our pets as well.
Right. So, of course, some people are concerned about this problem. They want the parrots to feel that they're included with their own kind, and they don't want them to go crazy. And this is where the iPad comes in, which we'll talk about in just a couple of seconds. But right now, we're going to take a break and listen to our Chinese teacher.
听众朋友大家好，我是安娜。不晓得你有没有养宠物呢？像我们家最近养了一只手工，真的很可爱耶。这手工就是壁虎啦，它是一种壁虎，听说可以养10多年。难道我们今天要谈手工吗？当然不是，我们今天要谈的是鹦鹉。好像鹦鹉我就不能养啦，因为我会对这个鸟的毛啊，还有排泄物都会过敏。可是这个文章真的很可爱耶。因为你知道鹦鹉居然还会打电话找朋友聊天吗？我们今天就要看这个文章。可这个文章被设计成有很多考生啊，或者是读者都觉得很困扰的，就是文艺选择这种题型。说真的，我觉得文艺选择真的没有太简单，因为每次我们看选项的时候啊，那一个字它到底是什么意思？有没有第二个意思？然后它是什么词性？有没有2种以上的词性，或者它有没有什么特殊用法？如果看起来好像是过去式，它有可能是 PP。也就是说，其实你会发现学测它的综合测验克漏字好像感觉不考文法了，其实也不是文法不重要诶，它的文法其实都是变形在这种文艺选择上面去考，所以文艺选择这种题型其实它真的是比较细一点点。好，我们终于要看一下这个鹦鹉的文章了齁。来，一开始呢，文章就告诉我们，当然很多人就喜欢鸟类啊，或者是宠物。宠物为什么会喜欢养鹦鹉呢？因为它会模仿人讲话。我们常会在 YouTube 上面很多的影片看得到，对不对？但其实就像大多数的人一样，其实我们很多人都不知道鹦鹉它是一个非常喜欢社交的动物。在第二段第2句出现了第一题，有没有一种 sense 看到第一题前面的 be 动词跟后面的 that？ 根据文意来看，很多的饲主啦都没有察觉到鹦鹉其实是 highly social animals， incredibly social animals。他们是需要很多的关注，很需要朋友的陪伴。不过在这句话因为也有一点复杂的原因，是因为它有一个限定用法的关系子句，先行词是 incredibly social animals， that 到句尾是用来修饰它的限定用法，这一个关系子句。 好，那怎么说呢？在第一段第3句就说啦，其实在野外的时候，好，这句话如果看不懂的话，也不能太怪自己，因为动词的 thrive 这个字我们觉得很少用。thrive 这个动词有可能是社会的兴盛繁荣啊，或在这里指的是鹦鹉这种鸟类啊，它们怎么样来成长茁壮啊，繁衍下去啊。后面加的是单位，enlarge 鸟类的单位嘛 ，enlarge flocks， 所以第2个当然只能选 F 这种答案，成群的让它们才能繁衍。然后逗点之后的 but 又加了一个 captivity， 但是把它们豢养起来，把它们关起来这件事情就剥夺跟其他鸟类的一个互动机会，所以基本上它们就会有一种第4句咯，他们很无聊，然后他们很孤独，就会有一些心理的第3比较不好的这个名词，就会有一些心理的什么呢？就有一些心理上的一些 issue。在这里第3题 A 选项的意思啊，就是所谓困难的意思。他们到底会发生什么样的一种困难呢？哪一种身心不平衡呢？比如说会拔自己的毛之类的。好，所以啊，就接下来就要讲到重点了。有一种新的研究就告诉我们，其实现代科技可以帮忙解决这样子的一个问题 ，help do something。第4题 help 后面只能加动词原形，所以你找一找，答案不是 B 呀，要不然就是 C 呀，要不然就是 G 或者是 J。要帮助解决这个 loneliness 的情况，缓解这种痛苦，所以第4题选 C 是比较正确的。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. We're talking about those poor pet parrots who are stuck in cages with no friend to play with. I mean, they enjoy people. They like to interact with people if you're around. But most of us have work, we have jobs, we have school. So we can't just sit by the cage and talk to a parrot. So we have some cute scientists who care about animals, in particular these birds, and they're trying to figure out how they can help them survive when they're just by themselves through the use of modern technology. And we're talking about social media here, actually.
Okay, in the second paragraph here it says, in a bid to provide parrots with the interaction they lack, researchers from several universities collaborated on a unique project. So in a bid, or in order to provide them with interaction, and they lack this interaction, they don't have it, they need it. Interaction, of course, as we said before, just means doing things with somebody else. You do something, and then you do something in return, and we go back and forth like that. Interaction could be a conversation or playing together, etc. And so we've got some researchers from several universities, and they worked together. They collaborated on a very unique project, a special project. It's one of a kind. They recruited 18 parrots from an online training program for pet parrots called Parrot Kindergarten. So here we've got the word to recruit. That just means you find people to work for your organization or to come and help you with something. Of course, in the United States, of course, the military is voluntary. It's not required. And so they're always trying to recruit new soldiers into the Army and the Navy. And they offer, salaries and certain kind of benefits to get people attracted to joining the service. So in this case, they recruited 18 parrots. They brought them in to participate in this program, and they did this from an online training program for pet parrots called Parrot Kindergarten. So I guess there's something online that you can use if you have a pet parrot and you'd like to train it. You can go to this place called Parrot Kindergarten.
Interesting. So the parrots at this kindergarten were taught to ring a bell. That's not too hard. They're pretty smart, which alerted their owners that they wanted to use a tablet. So when they got bored and they needed some company, they were taught to just hit the bell. And once they rang the bell or the bell was rung, it alerted their owners, hey, your pet parrot wants to use a tablet. Here we're talking about, of course, computer tablet, a tablet that is hooked to the internet, not the old-fashioned kind of tablet that my dad used at work all the time to write longhand. Just with, paper with lots of lines. That's a tablet too. So tablet computer is what they're talking about. What would they do then? This is our vocabulary word here, alert. If you alert someone to something, you just kind of give them a sign that something's going on. You can alert someone by calling them and telling them, warning them about something you noticed was happening. Or maybe you have an alert on your phone that tells you your battery is almost gone. So you need to recharge your phone. That's an alert as well. There are lots of different ways to alert someone. That's the verb form. Or you'll see an alert. So it's a verb and a noun both.
Right. Here it's being used as a verb, and they ring the bell that alerts the owners, or it lets them know that the parrots want to use the tablet. And then they would proceed to tap an image of another parrot on the screen. So then the parrots are presented with the pad computer, the notepad computer, the tablet rather, excuse me. And there'd probably be little icons of various parrots there. And one parrot would think, I think I want to talk to that parrot there. And it would tap on the screen to indicate the parrot that it wanted to interact with. And this initiated a video call, bringing another parrot face to face. To initiate something means to start it happening, basically. In modern society, of course, when boys and girls date each other, it's usually up to the man to initiate some kind of relationship. He's got to ask her out for a date, etc. So he has to initiate the relationship. He has to start it. And in this particular case, it began a video call. It caused it to happen. And then the parrot can talk face to face with another parrot who's on the screen.
This is so cute. I can't stand it. So, after becoming familiar with this procedure, the birds were allowed to call their friends freely. Oh, they had the freedom just to call up their buddies anytime they wanted to, which is kind of cute. When you talk about something called a procedure, it's kind of the method you use to do something. There's usually an order to a procedure. Maybe you're going to go in for surgery. The procedure would be for the doctor to examine you, to prepare all the x-rays, get everything ready, get you to sign off as agreeing to that procedure. But a procedure usually is an established or official way of doing something, and there's an order to it. What's the procedure for applying for a driver's license in Taiwan? I had to do that a couple of years ago. I wanted a new driver's license. What's the procedure? What do I need to do?
Right, so of course the parrots became familiar with the procedure. They knew what they were supposed to do. They needed to ring the bell and to tap on the screen to indicate which parrot they wanted to interact with. And in this phase of the experiment, the parrots made 147 deliberate video calls, each one keenly observed by the owners to ensure the birds' well-being. So once they learned the procedure, they actually went on to make many of these video calls. They were deliberate. They did them on purpose. They weren't just tapping on the screen for fun. They actually were trying to get in contact with a specific parrot on the screen. And then the owners observed them. They watched them very carefully to ensure or to guarantee that the birds were doing quite well. They wanted to ensure their well-being. Your well-being, of course, is how well you are, how well you're doing.
Yeah, your welfare, your well-being. Are you happy? Are you being fed and taken care of? Your well-being. Are you happy? Well-being can be beyond physical. It can be mental and emotional. So the findings, the results of the study were encouraging. The parrots appeared to enjoy their virtual hangouts. Again, they're not really face-to-face in person or in bird. We don't say that. But they're not really in the same place, in the same room. When you say face-to-face, usually you're in the same room. But here, they were having virtual hangouts. A hangout is just spending some time with a friend or a buddy. And usually when you hang out, you're outside doing something fun. You're not on social media, But these were virtual, meaning meaning they were done digitally. Anytime you see virtual, it may mean you're talking about technology or computerized technology. So these were hangouts or meetings they were having online via the internet.Right,
virtual just means trying to imitate reality. It comes close, but it's not 100%. So that kind of tells me that, this is nice, but still, ideally, the parrots should be free to interact with each other in person or in bird, as you tried to say there. But they displayed a range of different behaviors, including singing,playing around and showing off their toys. So they were happy to interact with the other parrots on the screen. They showed different types of behaviors. They like to sing. They like to play around. And, of course, they had toys that they wanted to show off. Look at this toy I've got here. It's a little stuffed animal. Aren't you excited for me?
Yeah, usually pet owners will buy toys for their pets, depending on what kind of animal it is and what they like. Parrots do enjoy singing. Oh, boy. And I can imagine they like to show off just even their pretty feathers to each other. They're such pretty birds. Many parrots even chose to call the same birds over and over again. So there must have been a picture of the bird on the screen that they could pick. So, which is fascinating, suggesting that long-lasting bonds were being formed. If you have a bond with somebody, it just means you're good friends. You know, you've done some things together. You know each other. You care about each other. Have a bond with somebody. Something that connects the two of you.Exactly.
It's a kind of connection, and these connections or bonds were being formed. And while video chats can't recreate how parrots socialize in the wild, they can offer a beneficial addition to the lives of pet parrots and brighten up their days. So it's true that video chats cannot be the real thing. They cannot recreate parrots socializing in the wild. That, of course, is ideal. However, if you do have a pet parrot and you want that parrot to feel less lonely, this can be a beneficial addition to their lives. It can brighten up their days. And to brighten someone's days or to brighten up their days just means to make it more attractive, happier, and more exciting.Yeah,
you always want to brighten up their days. People in your life, you want to brighten up their days. Make them happy. Make them understand that you really do care about them right now. Someone who always cares about us, especially our learning, is our Chinese teacher. We're going to listen one more time.
好，第二段的话呢，则是接着第一段呢。那既然是这样子的话呢，有这样子的一种方法，这个 researchers 研究者大家就开始合作一个计划，有没有？文艺这样顺下来，而且根据这个第二段的第一题来看 ，researchers from several universities 什么？On a project， 所以他们就开始合作嘛，用个动词，第五题选 I， 所以他们就找了好多的这个鹦鹉啊，然后希望鹦鹉能够训练他们怎么样交朋友。第二段第三句看到哦，鹦鹉呢就被教导去摇铃，摇这个铃呢，逗点之后的汇句就补充说明，这样子就可以提醒他们的雇主哦。这个饲主啊，就是告诉饲主说，我要用平板了。他们这个接着第四句，他们告诉饲主之后，平板拿给他，然后鹦鹉接着就会去打电话给别人。所以第四句这里的第六题其实就是一个 would then do something。就接着就打电话，所以当然第六题应该选 G 这里的 proceed。然后打了电话之后，哇哦，这个他们被训练之后就做了这个观察，有一些鹦鹉还会一天就打100多通电话，然后每一次呢需要打电话的时候，这个饲主就会好好的观察，然后来确保他们都很健康。所以第七题呢，ensure 要让他们好好的讲电话，好好的交朋友，才能够确保这些鸟类的健康。那当然这样子的研究的结果是怎么样的？在第三段第8题这个地方出现 be 动词后面又要修饰研究的结果，这个形容词应该是一个正面的形容词。所以你看第8题我们当时在看一选项的时候，我们以为是谈鼓励或者是鼓励这件事情，不对耶，在这里当成形容词来用，很振奋人心哦，很令人鼓舞的。因为其实鹦鹉很喜欢打电话，然后呢会唱歌啊，炫耀玩具啊等等的，他们啊还可以好好的交朋友。 不过我们在第3段注意第4句这个地方哦，逗点之后的 suggest 它是一个会取开始的补充说明关系子句的简化，而且这里的会取代替的是逗点前面整句话哦。很多的鹦鹉会一直不断的打电话给重复的鸟，跟某一两只特定的这个鹦鹉做朋友。那当然最后面就剩下1、2个选项就比较好选咯。所以如果我们下次真的养鹦鹉的话，或许我们也要训练他们如何打电话交朋友。以上是我们今天的内容，我是安娜，我们下次见。
That's all the time we have for today, everybody. Hopefully, if you have a pet parrot, you might try to do something like this to make that parrot feel that it belongs to the world in some way by being able to communicate with its fellow parrots. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.